The most corrupt president in the United States history, the convicted felon Donald Trump, and his acolytes and MAGA are going bananas about Joe Biden. And he had to mention, were they covering it up? And who knew when that he was old and had mental decline? Okay, Donald Trump is losing it right before our eyes. I mean, whether it's talking about Hannibal Lecter, giving microphones BJs, whether it's berating Zelensky or the president of South Africa, he's a nut. He makes no sense. Now we find, the Daily Beast reported this today, the White House has deleted all but one of the transcripts of the president's remarks. I wonder why the White House would want to redact his remarks. Oh, yeah, I know, because he makes no sense, because it's impossible to ignore how demented and unhinged he is, and the mental decline and the lack of acuity and understanding. Half of the responses he gives are, I don't know. I don't know if that's him, which he usually lies and says, I don't know, when he's being corrupt. But other times, I don't think he knows. He has a babysitter showing executive orders. So we found this clip, and I busted out laughing when I saw it because it's the perfect microcosm of Trump and how his White House covers up for him because he's a nut.
I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time. That's Monroe from the Monroe document. I don't want to be a wise guy, but when Hitler made his speech at the Eiffel Tower, I would say that wasn't exactly ideal.
Just a quick little fact check here. Cancer only goes up to stage 4. It's the Monroe Doctrine, not document. And if you were a wise guy, you'd be wise to know that Hitler never gave a speech at the Eiffel Tower.
Okay, that's good. Here's the thing. History repeats itself because people don't respect it. This is the kind of bullshit that happens in fascist nations, in authoritarian nations. The electorate is not allowed to have the facts. They have propaganda networks. I mean, Russian TV, you would think that Vladimir Putin had won the war in Ukraine and was sitting atop with the big crown because he has a propaganda network. You look at Fox News, start there, go all the way down. Tucker Carlson, all the manosphere. All they're doing is propagandizing him. We have Caroline Leavitt, who walks into the White House and lies to your face every single day while wearing a cross and espousing great Christian values. This is fascism. When the people cannot see the facts, we are doomed to repeat bad behavior. And this has been shown to us throughout history. You convince the rubes that you're right and nobody's objecting and what you're doing is the truth, and they'll go along with it because people are not doing independent fact checks. They're not looking and saying, well, did Hitler really give a speech at the Eiffel Tower? Nobody's fact checking this man because Americans are either too lazy or don't care, and we're walking into fascism. We are deporting people without due process to concentration camps in El Salvador. We've got to pay attention, and this is just another example of the White House propagandizing information to make Trump look good when we all know, if we actually study real facts, that he is so far gone. He makes Joe Biden look like he just won the Olympics in athleticism and acuity, because this man is the absolute, not only is he a liar, I don't know if it's demented, I don't know if it's not smart, but it is a marked decline from Trump 1.0. And we've heard, over and over and over and over again about the absolute incompetence, cruelty, vanity, narcissism of the cosplaying Secretary of Homeland Security. She is either a dental hygienist in this video, or she's a big, tough woman that holds the rifle the wrong way, or she's a nurse, she's a sailor. But what she is not is competent. And she got raked in the House of Representatives when she went to ask for more money because she's already run out of her budget. One thing she wanted was a $50 million jet to get her from point A to point B. I'm sure it's a whole team of glam squad to go with her. So some of the immigrants that have been wrongfully deported without due process dismissed a lawsuit voluntarily. They withdrew it. The judge didn't decide it on the merits. They withdrew it. And this is what Kristi Noem posts. Kristi Noem, Secretary Kristi Noem, at Secretary Noem. She posts the voluntary dismissal by the plaintiffs, and she types, "Suck it." Are you kidding me? You're the Secretary of Homeland Security, and you're running around telling people to suck it? Not only is that just infantile and immature and ridiculous, the lack of ethics in this White House is jaw-dropping. There is a standard of professional conduct that every professional should carry, but I don't hold everybody to that standard. But we should be able to hold our government officials that are over the Department of Homeland Security to just a tad bit of professionalism. And I know that's asking a lot from this woman. I know how cruel she is. I know that she does not give a shit about the law or the constitutional rights of the people that live in this country or the people that come into this country from other places. But this was just, I had to bring it up because I'm just like, of course she did. Only the best people in this administration. Trump also announced he has a new secretary of the Social Security Administration, and his name is Frank Bisiano. And ABC News posts this. This guy knew he was being interviewed, okay? He knew that.
We got a phone call, and it's about Social Security. And I'm really not, I swear I'm not looking for a job. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So I'm Googling Social Security, one of my great skills. I'm one of the great Googlers on the East Coast. But that is the headline for the Post. Great Googler in chief. Chief and Googler, whatever. By the way, I like to have fun at work. We're allowed to laugh. We're allowed to have fun. We're allowed to know each other's families. We're allowed to be normal. How's that? I'm like, what the heck's the commissioner of Social Security? First, nobody said we're calling you if it was about Social Security, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, here's the thing. This guy's a bozo, obviously, because he wants to be known as the Googler in chief. He's the greatest Googler on the East Coast. But the really upsetting part of this and the real abhorrent part of this is Americans depend on Social Security. So many seniors depend on Social Security to feed themselves, to house themselves, to clothe themselves. So now we have DOGE going in and services are taking exponentially longer. People are being kicked off the rolls, having to go in person to get help with their benefits because they can't do it on the phone or on the website anymore. These people need this money. People's that parents died that paid into Social Security, their kids need this money after their death. And what I hate is that Republicans call it an entitlement. Elon Musk calls Social Security a Ponzi scheme. People pay into Social Security. The money that's deposited from Americans' wages is directly from their wages. They deposit it out of their paycheck for Social Security. And now they want to take away Social Security from these same seniors that have worked their entire lives for this money. And Trump appoints a bozo that has to Google it and that he wants to be known as the best Googler on the East Coast, and he likes to have fun at work. Is this a joke? Like, people depend on this. We're talking about people's lives. This is not a serious administration, but the consequences of their actions are so dangerous for every American. And it makes me so mad that we have Elon Musk going in and selling information and cutting benefits and acting like there's fraud and then suing the Supreme Court and saying, we don't want anybody to know what we're doing at DOGE because they have not found the fraud they alleged. But they're screwing with people's lives. And this is real. to people that need their Social Security. It's not an entitlement. They paid for it. They should be allowed to collect it. But instead, we've got the great Googler who likes to have fun at work. He's in charge of it. So everybody should feel so much better. Then, as we talked about earlier, Trump and the Department of Homeland Security say we're revoking Harvard's ability to have foreign students, which is stupid. But immediately, Harvard sued, and the judge has ruled and issued a temporary restraining order. Put this up. This is part of the order that the judge made in this case. To quote, revoking Harvard's certification is unlawful many times over, the judge wrote in her order. It is a pillar of our constitutional system that the government cannot invoke legal sanctions and other means of coercion to police private speech, especially when the government's treatment is animated by viewpoint discrimination. The government's efforts to punish the university for its refusal to surrender its academic independence and for its perceived viewpoint is a patent violation of the First Amendment. Yes, it is. And again, this goes back to what we're talking about in the beginning. They don't want you to know. They are trying to control everything you hear. They want it to be propaganda. And Harvard said no. And now they're going to go through this big lawsuit. And here's my question for the Trump administration, all this. Oh, and I want to add, China is saying to all these foreign students, don't go to the United States. Come here. Every other nation is gaining because of the stupidity of the Trump administration. The biggest losers of Trump 2.0 are the American people. And this is just grinds my gear and I have to get it out. If this administration was so worried about anti-Semitism, why didn't they sit Elon Musk down on Inauguration Day when he was on an inaugural stage doing Sig Heils? If they're worried about Nazis, clean your own house. Stop trying to be the thought police for everybody else. We have to stick together. We have to build a resistance. We know you're listening and watching and not subscribing, so please subscribe to our channels, and we'll be back with more news.